Here we are. All right, so this should be the last video for this lesson with React Router DOM. What we want to do is we want to create a single page for each product. Okay, that's all we want to do. All right, and to do that, we're going to start off by building out a single component. Okay, that's the name of the component, single. So right here in components, single.js. That's the name I like to use for, like, a single product or a single item. You may see something different. I don't know, or may choose to do something different. But for me, single works well. So I'm going to say const single, and I'm going to export default single. And what we're going to do, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to return in here I'll do it like this. Let's say we'll have main, give the ID of main. I mean, a class name of main, rather. Class name of main. And inside here, I'll make a container. And what I'll do is I'll make a row. I can't do this. That'd be nice if I could. I could probably fix that up. Div class name row. And I'll do a div class name, say column dash 7. And inside of there, I'll do a little placeholder. Don't forget to change the class to class name. And I'm going to change this width and height. I'll say a width of 400 pixels and a height of 350 pixels. I will say 550 and 350. I'll just go with that. I'm not worried about the alt and all this stuff like that. That is just going to sit there like so. I'll also add rounded here. If I can spell correctly. There we go, rounded. All right, and then I'm going to do a div class name column dash 5. And here I'll make an H2. I'll just say display dash 4 and text capitalized. And right now I'll just put product in here. And then I'll do a p tag. Class name. I'll say price dash text. And I'll just put the price like so. This is what I want to do. I think this is what I want to do. I'm okay with this. And so this is, again, just to start. This is only a start. And then what I will do is, now that I have that, I want to make sure that it looks okay. All right. So I'm exporting it. I think what I'll do, just to make sure, just to see how it looks, I'm going to import it here in home. I'm going to import it here at home, look at it, and then delete it from home, okay? Because that's not where we want to render it. So I'm just trying to get a feel for how it looks. So I'm gonna come here and import single from single, and right underneath this home, I'm going to drop the single component. Again, I'm doing this just to see how it looks. That is it. Okay. That's the only thing that I want to do. And I'm going to come over here, click on home. Okay, so there's my place. Let's see if I refresh this, will the place won't even pop up. It won't. I wonder if there's an issue in the console. Oh, just trying to get that from the placeholder API. So there's placeholder image, there's product and price. Okay, so that's good. That's ideally what I want. But I think the issue is here that I think it needs to be text capitalized, not text capitalized. Yeah, there we go. So it's product and price. All right, cool. That's working. So I can delete this now because I don't want this to be imported there. Remove that single component. Okay, my home page is back to where it needs to be. All right. What I do want to do is I want to add this to my app.js file. So I'm going to come over here and import single here. Going to import that single component. And what I want to do is I want to create a route for it. Okay. So how do I go about doing that? Good question. What I need to do is I need to get the ID for the for that component, right? And there's a certain way that we do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here first. Let me add it to my component tree. I'm going to make a route, and the path for this one is going to be /store. And then what I need to do is add a slash and then say :ID. So I got store and then /:ID. This :ID simply means it's a variable, if you will. So what's going to happen is when I say localhost 3000 /store and then slash, anything that follows that second slash, that slash after store, that is going to be passed in as ID. And the colon is the indicator. It's like a query. That's what it is, a query saying, hey, localhost 3000 /store and then :query ID, and whatever value, doesn't have to necessarily be a number. It could be anything. Whatever I type in there following the slash, that's going to get stored as the ID. And so we want this ID to match whatever the product is. Okay, so we're gonna make that happen. So I'm gonna say route path store ID, and the element is going to be, as you might have guessed, the single component. And we just want we just want to get it to render now. All right, and we'll cook everything up in a minute. All right, so that's what we have here. Cool. Now let's now that we have this, let's go back to the card component. This card component is getting the props, right? We see that they're being passed in. We're receiving the props right here, which means that we have access to that object. And inside that object, we have the ID, we have the product, and we have the price. So that means we can use that ID, okay, for our link to make sure that we're linking to the correct place. But in order for us to get to create a link, again, we have to import the link object from React Router DOM with the link component. So we're going to import link from React Router DOM here inside a card. And what we want to do is we want to make, some element here clickable. We could make the entire card clickable if we want to. We can make, just the text clickable. If we wanted to, let's make the entire card clickable. Let's just do that. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna pass in, I'll do the link component. And remember, the link component needs a to prop. And then we're gonna break off into JavaScript right here. And we're going to link this to, watch this, I'm gonna use backticks, do some good old-fashioned string template literal. And this is gonna be /store/ and then $ curly brace props.id. That is going to be the path. And I'm also going to add a key to this. And the key is going to be, I'll say props dot key, because I do have that. We got access to that as well. I believe we did let's see. Let's see, this being passed in from store. Oh, we need to add an ID. So yeah, let's do that. So here in this card component, let's say ID. Yeah, I'm glad I checked that. ID is going to get product.id. There we go. Yeah. All right. So here in the card component, we added a prop ID, and that's going to be product ID. Card gets it. So now it knows what this props.id is. And then we have this key gets props.key. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this div, all of that, and drop that in there inside the link, and make sure that all these things are nested properly. I like code to look nice and clean and readable. Okay, cool. So now what should happen, I should be able to click on these products, and it should direct me to the single component. And let's see. Yeah, we're not quite done, but we got some stuff going over here. Okay, so now let's go back to our store. And let's see, can I click on this? No, I can't. Oh, what am I missing? Because I have a link, let's see, and let's see, store/props.id. Let's see what happens. Am I getting an error message? Perhaps I am. Maybe someone doesn't like. What does it say? Card key is not a prop. Try to access it. Trying to access it will result in undefined being returned. Okay, so let's fix that then. So it doesn't like that. Right here, let's not do props.key. Let's just say props.id. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. Refresh this. So no errors. Okay, now it's clickable, and it does go to the single page. Cool. Still have an issue with my placeholder image, but that's all right. So if I go to store, I click on a product, and it does take me to the single point. And then you can look up here. If you look up in the address bar, you can see here localhost 3000 /store/. Right now I have 3 because I clicked on the item or the card with a ID of 3. Also, if you notice, when I hover over one of these components, look down at the bottom left of your browser and you see the pathing there. So that says localhost 3000/store/2. So this is a good little test right here. Make sure that when I hover over an element, that it's giving me the correct path. It does that same thing here with home. It says localhost 3000. Here about localhost 3000/about store localhost 3000/store. So far so good. Excuse me. The last thing that I want to do now, I believe, is I wanted to render this single component with the appropriate data inside of it. So how do we go about doing that? What do we do? Let's try this. I think what we could try to do is apply, maybe we could try use state and use effect inside a single. Maybe we could do that. Or maybe let's see what would happen if we passed in this information as a prop. Let's see if we come over here to single and I could say, how could we do it? I think we'll need to use I think we will need to do a little bit maybe use params. Maybe that'll work. Let's see. If not, if I could do it a different way, I think I will. So I'm getting the single component, and it's going to render the single component. I do need to get access to the ID. So what I'm going to do here inside of single, I'm going to come right here and say, I'm going to import use params from React Router DOM. Okay. And above here, I'm going to say const params is going to get an instance of use params. Oh, not you, but you. And then what I could do when I do this, if I console.log params on the single component, let's see what happens. I'm going to come over here, click on a product, and when I inspect it, let's see, refresh. Oh, it's happening very fast, but you couldn't even see it. But it's just because it's this placeholder image, but it's showing the ID. Oh, there it is right there. I'm sorry, but it gives me the ID. So the params here are the parameters based on our query for which the location or the path that we want to use. Okay, and so params right now is an object that only contains one property, and that's ID, because we don't have anything else inside the parameters. But we have access to it right here by using use params. Okay, so we imported use params from React Router DOM. I instantiated it right here, and I can say, okay, well, what's params.id? If I console.log params.id, come here again, refresh, and there it is 3, the number 3, because that's the product that's selected. And again, this error message right here is just the placeholder image. For some reason, it doesn't want to be kind to me, but that's all right. I'm gonna be kind anyways to it. Okay, so now that I have that, what I can do is this. I'm going to initialize state. All right. I'm going to import my data file. Okay. And I'm going to get my object based on the parameter that I have. So I'm going to, here inside of single, I'm going to import data. And, there may be another way to do it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there is. Again, as I always say, there's a way, right? But very little the ways. Okay. So here I am going to import my data. And then what I'm going to do is I need to also get use state and use effect. So I'm going to say import use state, and I also want use effect. Okay. Excuse me. And what I'll do here, I don't need this console anymore. I'm just going to comment that out. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say const. I'll just call it item. I could use product. I'll go product because that's the name I've been sticking with. So const product and set product. This is all happening inside a single. And that's going to be use state. And my initial state is going to be what? Anybody have a guess of what my initial state is going to be? Not the array. I want a single item from the array, and a single item is what? Yeah, the curly brace, but what that make it? No. Well, if it's in curly braces, what is it? Yes, an object. Yes, correct. So use state is an object. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply use effect. Okay. And in here, we're going to write this function. Let me add my dependency array before I forget, because I like to forget that from time to time. So on this use effect, I want to set product to be data, but I don't just want data. I want whatever for this, something real quick. And again, this might not be the cleanest way, the most efficient way to do it, but for the purpose of this particular project right here, what I could do is, because I know data, matter of fact, let me console data, just so we can see what it returns. It should be an array, and it is. It's an array. Okay. So what I want to do is set product to be data. Okay. But I don't want anyone particular. I want ID. No, not ID. Params.id -1. And if I come over here and I console.log product, that should give me that single product. Oh, what is it done like? Oh, no, it's more stuff. Come over here. And I think I saw it. There it is. It gives me the correct it gives me the correct item. If I come over here back to my store, I click on product 1. There it is right there, ID product 1. Okay, like I said, this isn't like the best way, but I want you to see what we're doing. We're using, some basic JavaScript, arrays and accessing items out of an array or from an array to be able to return particular data. So all I did was I know that data is an array, okay? And if I want a particular item from an array, I need to say, I have the ID for it, and all listed 1, 2, 3. Now, obviously, this couldn't work if we were, if these IDs were some unique, non-iterative number value. This wouldn't work, but it works right here, okay? And the main thing is for us to get to see how this works and getting something displayed on the screen. So, but I have the information. Okay, so that works. So now here, and then my H2, this doesn't have to be product. This could be product dot product. And this price right here, again, I put a $sign. And I can say in here, product dot price, and I'll put the little decimal values afterwards. And there it is, product 1 400. Come over here, go to the home page. Let me close out the console. Yeah, we get it. You don't. Let me refresh this. Okay, there's a home page. Go to about. Click on store. Everything's good. Product. Yeah. So the only thing is it doesn't like the. I'm not getting the placeholders, but there it is. Now that works. I can remove. I'm coming out these consoles because I don't need them anymore. So all that happened is we just put the pieces together, things that we've already used. So there's a home page. I got an about page. I got a store. I got a list of all the products. I click on the product and it takes me to that individual or that single page. Okay. Now, with this, we could also use pagination, right? What I mean by that is basically listing out the different pages of products that you could click on. We see that, or we could add a previous and next link that if we click on next, it would take us to the next item, or we can click on to go to previous item. We could do that as well. Obviously, there's a lot more massaging that we could do and making this thing be more efficient. But what I wanted you all to look at and see is how we use React Router DOM to create multi-page applications. So now this, as limited as it is right now, it is very much scalable, right? I could, it doesn't have to be 3 products. If I come over here, I can go back to my data file. Let's open up store. So here I am in store. If I go back to my data file and I add a new product here, and there they have a card for it, just like that. And I can click on that card and it's going to take me to a single page. All I had to do was update the data file. I didn't need to refresh the browser because we used way back here in app we use useEffect. And so useEffect says, hey, with this dependency array right here, it's saying, hey, if the state of products has been changed, has been updated, then I'm immediately going to re-render this component because I'm setting data here to whatever the update has been or whatever the update is. And once data is updated, it's going to immediately re-render the component. So we don't have to refresh the page to get product 4 showing. We don't have to go and do anything. It's all we need to do is make an update to our data file. And so you think, for someone who does data entry, if your application is built correctly, all you would need to do for data entry is just key in information properly. Certainly, again, there's some things that would definitely need to be tweaked. For example, inside a single, we wouldn't want to do this per se because, again, if we have an ID that is, say, non-numerical, okay, then this wouldn't work. If the numbers were out of order, then it wouldn't work. So, and you will definitely have cases like that. But for a purpose of this works just fine. What you would normally want to do is, again, we want to have our data stored somewhere else. We wouldn't want our data to be stored locally. We want a, being served, being a database, and we connect to the server through an API and then get the data. And then we could, again, render the component based off of that. But this is just to get something displayed because we want to see how we can create multiple pages. And again, it's still scalable. And we see that I can go and, add, 1,000 different products if I want to. And the beautiful thing is I don't have to go and build a component for each one. I don't have to go and, make a column, a container, a row, all this stuff. I don't have to do that for each one. It's going to automatically populate based on the data file. So that is this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I do have a lot of fun with React. And so any questions about any of the hows and whys? That's because I'm the greatest teacher ever. That's why there's no questions for any hows and whys. Anyways, that's it for this lesson. Peace.